the tubes. Smirking, I pressed one of many buttons on my control pad. The cogwheels withdrew, the upper levels of the disc rearranged, and out came a cog with elegantly rounded teeth. They spun into a blur, cutting the air with a high-pitched whine, and the disc rose into the air. Just to make the point of how badly Rocky was outmatched, I flipped another switch, and concentric gears slid out of the belly and rotated like a drill. And then the goofy glass blob spat water at my creation. Criminy! Spat was almost the only word, but about as appropriate as using throw to describe firing a bullet. 2 tubes slid up, tracking my floating toy, and launched blobs of water so hard Rocky's glass freak show slid backwards from the recoil. Dodging wasn't even an option, and my creation went spinning end over end, only righting itself and getting its hover action back inches short of hitting the ground. Before I could come up with an attack strategy, Rocky leveled an accusing finger at my disc.
Why isn't that thing broken? How can it be light enough to fly, but hard enough I didn't cut it in half? All you're good at is gears.
My grim and gritty combat face fractured into a grin and I puffed up with delight. Turns out, there's a benefit to using my power with my dad watching. He offered me all kinds of things I never thought to ask for. Like alloys of, I think it's molybdenum? And maybe some other metals from the far end of the periodic table. Strong and light. And all I had to do was feed them to the machine and have it spit back out the right-sized gears. I tapped my left wrist, where the machine clung, wrapped in a spiral like a hibernating copper centipede. The control panel for my disc was on the right wrist. No way was I ever leaving my machine behind, even if it meant weighing down both arms. Rocky gaped at me, jealous to the point of protest.
Lucky!
Penelope Akk was not at home to shame. Nope. I counterattacked. And where do you get all that glassware you use? Direct hit. Rocky reeled back, awkward.
Well, my aunt...
Right. I nodded, triumphant. But, not rubbing it in. As a further gesture of magnanimity, I stepped closer and held up the wrist-mounted control box for inspection. My dad made this, too. I'm a long way from knowing enough electronics to rig up my own remote control system. He scavenged from some toy planes. Just the control interface, of course. The actual power source is one of Penelope Akk's magnificent supertension winding springs. I had plenty of reason to be smug about those. My dad, Brainy Akk himself, still hadn't figured out how they stored so much power. He'd gotten as far as recursive spirals, and apparently that was the tip of the iceberg. Adjusting his massive glasses, which put even my solidly functional pair to shame, he studied the extensive array of switches, levers, and buttons with appropriate awe.
Cool. So you come here to test what you're building? How often?
You should know. You hunted me down. The connotations of that thought clicked into place, and I gave him a suspicious stare. How did you know I would be here?
I didn't. I just saw you from the street.
Uh-huh. I pointed at his backpack and his globular, water-spitting death bot. And you just happened to be carrying a weapon to challenge me with? His grin got goofy and apologetic, pulled up on one side. I'd never seen anybody so physically fit look so nerdy.
Well, yeah. I just like to carry it with me, you know?
I paused, my mouth open as my thoughts rearranged, until finally I admitted, I guess I do. I never leave home without something I've built. Usually more than one. And it's not like you can carry around that power armor you built. He giggled faintly.
I never got that working again. It made sense when I built it the first time, but now I just can't figure out what I was doing.
I barked a laugh. You don't have to tell me. My real superpower, the one I didn't want him or my parents finding out about, refused to ever do anything twice.